Urbanization and Reformation, the Gilded Age. Okay. Overview. In this lesson, we'll be learning about urbanization and reformation, including what urbanization and reformation is, its effects on people, and some of the movements it created. Urbanization is the process of people moving from farms to cities during the Gilded Age. Urbanization became very popular among the people, and everyone wanted to move to the cities. Immigrants were a big group and part of the urbanization. During the process of this, the people living in the cities began to try and revolutionize the way of life and how people went about. They developed public transport, like buses, trolleys, and some cars too. Suburbs became very populated among the people, and many skyscrapers were built up to help provide better living among the cities. Urbanization created many different movements. The first one we'll be looking at is nativism. Nativism was a movement to protect the natives, and the people tied to this movement generally favored these people over immigrants and were also anti-Catholic. They disliked true natives so much that they made an exclusion act against the Chinese immigrants called the Exclusion Act of 1884. The next movement was called temperance. This was a movement to get rid of alcohol and was prohibition. The next movement was the New York Charity Organization. This group of people would help out people in New York, but they decided who needed the help more and would help and sometimes ignore people in need. They even kept track of who had already received help and who needed help more than someone else. Then the last movement was called the social gospel. The social gospel movement was normally held in churches and helped create settlement houses. These people tried to help to fix the problems caused by alcohol, gambling, and poverty. Reformation. The people in the suburbs and cities during the Gilded Age all had different goals and ways of life to try and fix the problems with the overpopulation, religion, and other problems among the people. Some of the people tried to end immigration, and some tried to help the poor. Many different movements were started to fix these problems. Urbanization in the Gilded Age had a multitude of bad outcomes. Jobs were dangerous and were being worked by not only adults but kids. People were getting sick in the factories or dying in disasters such as fires. The cities people lived in were in terrible condition. There were no proper sewage systems, so feces filled the streets. Slum areas were overcrowded and dirty with open sewers, rats, stray animals, pollution, diseases, and fire. Some people lived in factory towns while most lived in tenements. Tenements were low cost, normally crowded apartments in the city. The claustrophobic tendencies in the tenements led to the creation of dumbbell tenements. These were built narrower in the middle to allow light and air into the inside rooms. These new tenements eventually led to clean water and better health care. Because of all these issues within the city, the rich lived in the suburbs away from the pollution and crime. These rich politicians also created the problems during this time. There was a fierce competition for control over the city's government. Politicians were corrupt and known as political machines. Political machines were a political group in which an authoritative boss or small group commands the support of corps or of supporters and businesses who receive rewards for their efforts. So basically, these political machines would hand out jobs and favors to citizens who in return would vote for the bosses. To recap what we have learned through this lesson, there were many ups and downs throughout the Gilded Age concerning urbanization and how to reform it. They changed how people got around the city with transportation, but the living conditions became very low cost, dirty, and extremely overcrowded. Politics became very competitive, and there was a great turmoil between candidates. With the Reformation, the people tried to continuously to fix the problems that urbanization had caused. A few of these movements were the social gospel movement, nativism movement, the temperance movement, and etc. In the end, we see that overall urbanization was a positive benefit for the people of the United States, bringing in many jobs, education, medical improvements, and increasing rights for many. But like any other process, it had its negative effects, to which in many suffered from the choices made. Alright, contribution page. Jillian Payne did the title page, content pages, and Works Cited. Katie Richert did the content pages and review page. Rinker did overview, content pages, and contribution page. And there's our Works Cited.